And we are live. So today what we're going to work on is a color picker, and if we're lucky we can get to box shadows. So that's our goal. It's going to be a shorter stream today, and let's get to it. So of course the goal of a color picker is to allow you to pick a color. I know that sounds obvious, but you're right. So the question is, do we want to allow the user to size this? And I don't actually know. In our old implementation, we allowed the user to size stuff. So we're going to kind of carry that logic forward. So the way it works is it's broken up into two rectangles. You've got like the rectangle for the actual color picker, and then the rectangle for the HSV slider. And if you have opacity, then you also have a slider for alpha. So that's basically the idea. So first, let's just draw something. UI color picker. Color is V4 red. So yeah, in our old UI system, we were just like manually spacing everything. In the new system, we're doing this kind of box thing, which I have been quite liking. In some ways, it feels like a very elegant solution to this problem. Okay, so a slider, color picker is going to extend from a button. And we want it to be clickable. Oh, the user can size this with the style property. And HSV height, we maybe need to accept as an input. And I don't know, like allow alpha, or just pick alpha. Maybe this will always get some default value. So clickable, draw border. We don't want text. We do want background. We want hot effects. And I don't know if there's like a Win32 cursor for this. I don't think there is. Cursor, create cursor. Come on. What? Create icon? Why is there... Why is there not just a page with all the cursors? Or it feels kind of buried somehow. Okay, here we go. I need to bookmark this page. I'm always looking for it. I don't want to see it. Okay, the question is, none of these look like eyedroppers. So I guess we would either just do the normal arrow, or we would do like the hand. Let's see what the web does. This is becoming WWJD. Okay, they just do a normal hand. Yeah, also, by the way, this is what we're trying to implement. So yeah, let's just keep it easy. Our cursor's gonna be just the default cursor. And we want to style this. I don't know. It's going to be 400 by 400. And of course, we don't have text here. This is going to be color picker P. So there we go. We got a nice big rectangle in the screen. Right. So the color picker is also going to have children. And I don't know what to do about the children. Maybe we change this slightly to be this style. UI top style. And then we say UI push style. And of course, poop style. I don't know what poop style is, but that's probably something entirely different. Hopefully this UI doesn't turn out to be poop style. So, okay. So then inside the parent is where we want to do all the magic. Right. So we can actually implement the picker without changing too much. So maybe we'll just create like another rectangle. This is going to be like 40 by 40. And of course, we changed this yesterday, so now you always specify 4 colors. Oh, right, there's going to be a box. So there we go. We have the red color that's being picked. So the first thing we need to do is when we're dragging in the box, we need to change the color. And we know that this should be pretty straightforward. So we're going to do something like the following. Dot down. Then we get our vector to mouse is going to be events.mouse. I think is all we called it. Yeah. Vector to value clamp v2. So this is, I'm looking at our old implementation for this. Divided by size. So importantly, we need to know our own size here. I think we called this like epsilon f32. And clamp that between that and 1 minus epsilon. So the reason we actually need to keep it between epsilon is because otherwise, if it goes pure white, we don't know what color it is anymore. So it's a little bit of a kludge, as they call it. Epsilon. So we can keep the same color without any extra storage. Yep. Now we need to convert our color RGB to from HSV and HSV from RGB. So we want to first compute the HSV value. 3 HSV is HSV from RGB. And that's going to take in our color. Right. So this has to be color dot xy z. And size, we don't have a size, of course. And HXY. So I don't actually know. Well, you can just do something like this. Calc size. So for the first frame, this is going to be wrong. And actually, you're going to be dividing by 0. So we just need to make sure that it's not 0. And then, boom. Look at that. We have the basic color picker. Of course, now we want to clamp that. I thought we already were clamping this. Between... Yeah. Oh, yeah, we are. It's just a little confusing because the mouse disappears while we're clicking. I don't really understand why that happens. This is a hack because I don't know why the cursor is getting reset. I mean, I think it has something to do with this. Root style cursor. Do we have a cursor style for null? Okay. If not, hoverbox is null. If cursor is cursor null, then we're gonna say cursor equals. I think there's something weird. Oh, yeah. Because here's what the issue is. You're hovering over the box, but the box doesn't have a cursor style, I don't think. So we should be able to remove that hack. Yeah. Okay. That's great. So obviously we need to draw the color picker, which we're not doing. We need to draw the little thing inside the color picker. We do support gradient backgrounds now. So I think the actual background of the color picker we can fully express with the UI. So let's do that. How do we pick the colors? Okay, so we have to figure out what the hue that you're currently on is. Dot background color. And oh, I see. I think the problem is you can't express this with one rectangle. You would actually need multiple. Well, for now, let's just do the background of the box. We'll need to do some effects on top of it, which is also part of the reason we did this whole refactor yesterday, was so that we can have boxes take arbitrary draw commands, at least as long as they're like rectangle-ish. So we might need to refactor the code for that, but for now, background color would just be UI color 4. Of hue is gonna be a v4 of hsv.h111. Right? X hsv.x. That looks wrong. Do I have to divide this by 60? I think I do. What is our... Oh, we have to convert this back into... Oh, I see. Okay. So this is actually what we did instead. We said HSV RGB from HSV. And then V4 from V3 F is what it's called. Some of the naming of these functions is weird. Does not take 3 arguments. So that's our pure hue. We're actually not going to draw hot effects because it's kind of not what we want. So that's our pure tone. Like I said, the problem is we also want to draw some gradients on top of that to really finish out the color picker. Which we can express with boxes, but I don't want to. Like it's just 2 rectangles. There's no reason to do a whole box layout situation for 2 rectangles, you know? Well, we can put in a little hack for now. So here we're going to demo our color picker. And then later we're going to just say like hack. Can I just query like UI root first child? UI box star box. If maybe color picker. String starts with string starts with okay. So don't try this at home. Well, I mean, ideally we would just push some boxes, right? Can we just use the UI engine drawing code to say UI push rect? Rectangle. Calc. So the rectangle. So now we need to pass in a color. Okay, so we need to make a color white to alpha is gonna be bottom left white to alpha x to alpha x top right is 1 v4 from v3f v4 white dot xyz comma 1 bottom right, so that's the color we want to push on top of this guy. Border radius, I suppose we could just read the color picker border radius. Edge softness is going to be 0. Border thickness is going to be 0. This is all just a hack, right? Style dot border radius. Oh man. Rectangle color 4 Border radius. Oh, we need to do... I don't know why I did this instead of just making it take the literal... What the heck? Rectangle, border radius. Oh, I was putting the same argument in there twice. Boom. We have a white rectangle. Of course we are confused why it's not blending. Like, what? Oh. It's not blending because I put 1 here instead of 0. So that's the gradient that ways. And then we need to do another gradient. This is going to be the same, but it's going to call black to alpha. Oh, God. Black to alpha, and instead of x, this is going to be y. So then same deal. We actually might want to make helper functions for these. And then, of course, we need to... Yeah, I kind of want to make a helper function for these, but we'll first get it working. So we want to say top left is going to be that. Top right is going to be that. Bottom left, bottom right. Boom. Look at that. So we know this is placeholder, but, you know, that's what it would take. It's just 2 additional rectangles on top of our rectangle. And if we were a JavaScript programmer, we would just put them in as boxes in the UI tree. But we're not a JavaScript programmer, and we know we can do better. So we're going to have to encode some way for boxes to take extra rectangles for their drawing stage. But that's fine. So let's make the helper here called... we have all these colors, right? So here's colors. Function UI color for gradient X. And then so this will take a vector for left, vector for right. And then we'll do a gradient Y, which takes a top and a bottom. Gradient X. Left, left, right, right. I definitely like having these color 4s because having labels for the color is very nice. Top, top, bottom, bottom. And so then white to alpha is just going to be UI color for gradient X. The left color is going to be v4 white, and then the right color is going to be v4 from v3f v4 white dot xyz comma 0. And then the black color is going to be UI color for gradient y. And we want to do the opposite here. v4 black dot xyz 0 v4 black. So if we compile this, we get the same result. Okay. I mean, you know what? You could actually just find all the boxes in the tree and apply drawing effects to them afterwards. But I would like to do a little bit better than that, ideally. Okay, so the color picker lets you pick the color. I might want to break this down into a few different separate components, and then you can chain them back together if you want. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do this. For now, I think we're just going to put them all in here. And they're not even going to be children of each other, right? Because they're all just separate sliders. Well, now these are actually sliders, like proper. So if we look at what the schmeal with our slider is it's this. So I think I actually want to reuse the slider. And the text is going to be, well, we don't want to display the text. So we're going to do pop, pop, pop. Or wait, we have slider F, don't we? Okay. So the first slider, I guess we'll do the alpha slider because that's a little bit easier. And color picker alpha slider. I suppose we can put in the pointer here to the color. Alpha slider, and then this will take color. So, okay. So then now we have a nice alpha slider. Of course, we actually want the height of this to be much different. So we're going to grab the last box. And I don't know. We're going to set it to 64 pixels tall. Maybe 48 pixels tall. Maybe 32 pixels tall. It's a little small. I don't know. At some point, we're going to want to do like UI themes. So these can all be like theme variables. So that's good. And then we want to make the hue slider. Now the hue slider is going to be a little bit trickier. For a few reasons. Oh, I see. Okay, so we can actually just have like a temporary value in the slider. But if we do a temporary value, then it really shouldn't use our pointer. Oh, we don't use the pointer. We use the text for the slider. So we're going to put this like hue and I feel like we don't need to do this so much. Oh, we already have our hue color. So it's going to be hsv.x. And then we're going to allow you to choose a hue. It would be nice if our slider just took a range. Because we know that the hue can only be in a certain range. And I don't really want to have to remap it to 0 to 1 and then back again. I feel like that's just kind of annoying. So yeah, why don't we change our slider? And we'll see how that goes. So slider, min value, max value. And eventually you'll want to provide like a step value if that applies. Maybe. But okay, we'll do min and max. So we get a float out of this. You know, it's actually not that big of a deal to just remap it ourselves. So we just want to divide by the range and then hue times equals the range. So that's easy enough. And of course, we need to set the thing if you actually hue events, if hue events dot down color XYZ equals HS RGB from HSV, and this is going to be a V3 of hue 1 1 hue redefinition. Oh, okay. So boom, I think our range is wrong, but that's looking pretty good. right? So now you can pick color, you can hue the slider, do the hue slide, and wasn't so bad. I think our hue value is already in the range of 0 to 1. And so, yeah. There we go. So now, of course, we need to draw the hue slider and the alpha slider. And for these, again, same deal. We're going to hack around the fact that we can't equip boxes onto other boxes. I spilled coffee on my sweater. Right. So, again, we're going to come down here and we're going to throw another hack in here. You know, actually, we could make this a real feature if you had some way to say like UI box query all, or like find all. So if you could find all that started with that key, you could actually ship code like that. And maybe I will want to do that even as just a stand-in. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to expose a function. UI box query. We have a find by name, or a find by key rather. Find by text. The problem is we don't have a way to return a list of boxes. So let's just implement this exactly as we would need to here. It equals UI root. Then you would say something like for that not UI box is null. It equals it depth first next. So, and then all you would do is this. So that's all you would do to make this like a real feature. Is we would expose some kind of API like that. Which honestly, now that I'm looking at the code, it's not that bad. So maybe you just deal with it for now. So then same deal here. We want to find a string that starts with color picker hue slider. And, well, you know, while we're at it, we could just throw it all in this loop. And this is going to be wrong, but it should illustrate the point that this works. And then at the end of this, we're just going to draw all the rectangles that we pushed. So the HSV slider is a little bit tricky. It's not that bad, but we do need a few more things. For example, we need a list of hue colors. And then God, some of this old code was bad. Okay, so for 1, I is less than count of hue colors. Now, instead of this, we actually want to do something more like this. So we're going to be building up these gradients and like pushing them into the situation. So P0 is always going to be rect dot P0 plus then we just need to get the size of the rectangle that we're in. And P1 is going to be this again, but we're going to go out to it's going to be easier to just do this. X0 rect dot Y1. And instead of I minus 1, this is just I. And then we're going to make a new rectangle of 0 to 1, white to alpha. So that works, right? You can see that. But now we actually need to make these the correct colors. So then the color that we're going to want this to be is from hue colors I minus 1 to hue colors I. And then that looks pretty good. Problem is we have a little line gap there, but yeah. You can see the seams. We'll call this gradient. I don't know if we actually need to kind of soften up these edges a bit. That does look better. Maybe we just need to like snap these floor F30 or like round F32 P0. Okay, I'm gonna put a hack note here. Why do we need to round these? Right. So there you go. Now we have a nice color picker thing, bobber. And then the last effect we want to change is the alpha slider. So for the alpha slider, it's gonna be a little bit different. Color picker alpha. And then, of course, we also want to draw the actual points in the picker. So we'll get to that, but that's going to be the last stage. Color picker alpha slider. So for this, we want to do like a checkerboard pattern. And yeah, I mean, somehow it's going to be based on the size of the rectangle. I kind of want to look at what do other people do for this? But pretty much we'll have to do something like this. I is 0, I is less than like the number of steps we want to take. So say we'll do 8 steps. And in each step, we want to draw 3 rectangles. So sort of starting at it's going to be similar to this logic, actually, for picking the points. And we'll round as well. And instead of gradient, which we don't want, we're going to do something different. Step. So it's getting close. I to I plus 1, I believe. No. Oh, yeah. And then we just need to go here to 0. So we got that, right? And we'll kind of compute the number of steps we want to take. I don't exactly know how we'll determine that. But in each step, we want to draw the color. So these colors are going to be a little bit arbitrary. So I don't know. Maybe the alpha slider itself will already just have the background. Because that will help. And so if we set the background to like a nice, I don't know, a nice grayish color. I will be back in 5. I'm going to get some more coffee. Hello again. So where we were at is trying to finish up the alpha slider here. Why does the background... Why is that? Oh, I think we set it to the same background color as the app, which is funny. So yeah, something like that. Let me actually look at what we did in our old game. So yeah, you can see we had a janky UI here. Oh, I like this touch. So you can see it's actually composed of, like, the background rectangle is going to be that like nice light gray. Then we're going to draw those gray blocks on top of it. Well, okay, let's start with the dark gray. We'll draw the light gray on top, and then we'll finish with a nice fade. Oh, and I also want to have a function that's like draw color swatch. Swatch. I don't know if that's the right word. But at some point we will have a color swatch as well. Yeah. But not now. Okay, so the dark background is going to be the background. Now, I'm just going to change this so that we can actually see the gray color. Because already our background is gray. Right? So that's our background. Now, in this function, we need to fill rectangles in sort of like alternating patterns. So we need to slice okay, so it's like we want to take the midpoint. Mid is going to be P1 minus P0 times 0.5. Then we want to push a rectangle from P0 to the mid, and I don't know. Can we just color for, and then this is going to be something like R, G, B, A. We want this to be white, but we'll do like 20%. White, light color, light color. And that, and then we'll do from the mid to P1. And as you can see, this did not work as expected. Maybe we'll just do like R2 center of R2 P0 P1. I know that there's a better way to do this, but you know, that works. And then boom. So now we have the nice checkered backgrounds that we all know and love. And we can make it a little bit more subtle. I kind of want to decrease the step size of it, I think. I don't know. I don't know how many steps should go into it. Like, if we do this many, that's probably too many. Okay, so we at least want to try to make them all square-ish. Like, I feel like if we just do 4. Actually, 4 looks pretty good. Even 2. 2 looks good. One looks kind of bad. So I don't exactly know. Like, we want to pick a value that approximates something. For now, I'm just going to hard code it as 4. And then, of course, the last thing we need to do is draw our gradient x. So the left color is going to be okay. So we need to get the color from somewhere. And there we go. What? Oh, dot XYZ. And this is boom. What? This is rect. So something like that is looking pretty good. And that is basically the whole color slider, right? So the only problem is this color here is always red. Like ideally it would change with whatever you're selecting. But yeah, this is great. I don't know. I think I do want to make these a little bit thinner. Do that. And I do want to have a little color swatch because I think it'll be cool. Of course, the swatch only matters if it's transparent at all. But I do want to draw the swatch. So here's our color picker. And here's our UI color swatch. And the only reason we're taking a pointer to it is just to make the ID easier. Color swatch. And really basic. The swatch is actually going to need to also have the color. So already we're running into these problems where, like, I guess we could put some user data on boxes and that would solve this, but yeah, I want to experiment with both ways. Like both being able to equip rectangles directly when you're drawing the thing. And I guess with, yeah, like having some user data that you could set. Let's just do the user data thing for now because it's actually pretty easy. It would just be something like this. Void star user data. Go nuts. But you really have to know what you're doing with that, because I'm trusting you. And so here, color picker, you'll say UI last box. I guess in the color picker itself, we can just set the user data. User data equals color. And then for the swatch as well, we assign the user data. Okay, so then when we go to the alpha slider, yeah, we're gonna want to set the UI box alpha slider, UI last box, alpha slider, alpha slider. User data is color. Why are we saying flags is an undeclared identifier? Oh. So our swatch is actually just going to be kind of like a button. So the button is going to be clickable. We're going to draw the border. We're not going to draw text, background. I don't think we want hot effects. Style.cursor equals cursor hand. And then we return UI events from box, box. And then we'll say box.background color is this nice gray color. And set the user data. Okay, so the idea with the user data is we just read it right off of here. I guess I want to just be extra careful about this. So we'll say if it user data. Maybe ideally you would also set the size. And like it user. Like, if we're gonna have a pointer, like, it would be nice to have a sized pointer. You know? Well, whatever. Let's just blindly trust this random pointer. I guess we would have to say, hey, pretend like this is a color. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. This is great. The only thing is, I think we want the color here to have full opacity. Dot alpha equals 1. Right? Just because, like, yeah, that feels a lot better. Okay, so now the color swatch is going to be a little bit similar to the alpha slider, but mostly pretty different. Swatch. So we're going to look for a swatch. And when we find it, inevitably, we are just drawing 3 rectangles. We do need to preserve the light color. We do want the midpoint. And we do boom, boom. And in this case, we want the full color. So we do that. We say UI color 4 from color. Border radius, edge softness, border thickness. Yeah, we'll do these eventually. Okay, that doesn't actually look correct. Oh, because color swatch is that. Oh, we didn't actually draw the color swatch in the actual UI. UI color picker. Oh God. So it's looking good. Why is it so big? Oh, because we're popping the style. So boom. There's our color swatch. That is great. Guys, I could not have predicted this going this well. I know I wanted to get to box shadows, but I think I'm going to wrap up the stream here. So yeah, when we come back, we're going to want to actually kind of clean up this code a little bit because it's going to get a little unwieldy to have to like manage all of these random calls going on. I could kind of see it argued either way, but I want to at least allow, or at least try to allow rectangles to be attached to boxes. And if we wind up hating that, oh wait, we didn't do the freaking, guys, we didn't do the circles. There's supposed to be circles here, so that you can easily. Okay, let's do the circles first. Sorry. Just getting a little ahead of myself here. Okay. So actually all of these are going to need so all these are going to need that. I think what I would want to do is to have something like this and just a function to help people out, you know. I'm just a guy trying to help people. And by people, I mean future me. So I don't know where exactly we would put this. Maybe here. So let's just start with the user code that we would want. So we'd want to say something like, ideally, color equals UI box data. You would pass it the box and you would give it a default. That's what we want in the ideal world. You'd have to give it a type. So let's try to implement that. UI box data. Then we would define UI box data box type default value as we're going to say if size of type is equal to box user size, then provide the thing. And of course, this is going to be a dereferenced situation. Otherwise, you just get 0, I think. How would we consistently give you a 0 for this? Oh, yeah, okay. Otherwise, you get 0. Okay, and then all that UI box data is going to do UI box get data. Now we have to wrap all the things. Okay, so I think that's actually working. And then we would have a function called this, where we would just say, if not UI box is null, if not UI box is null, so then here we would just say UI box set data to color size of vec4. I like the idea of making these sized because I feel like the chances of us messing up are lessened. They're not zero, but they're lessened. Now we could have this be like UI box data, set data. We could have a thing that's like UI box set data box data set data size, and then this would be value putter. Putter size of star putter. So just a shorthand so that you can do that. Too many arguments. Yeah. I do kind of like the idea of having user data. I'm not not a fan. Okay. So now we have the ability to set user data on boxes in a somewhat reasonable way. And what we need to do here is when we're drawing the color picker, we need to read the color again. And we need to map this to a 2D coordinate. So the way that that would work is we need to convert to HSV, I think. Yeah. So we convert to an HSV, and then we want to say our position is going to be the size times, well, I guess it would be rect.p0 plus rect.size times v2 hsv.s xy 1.0 minus hsv.yz. RGB, maybe we just throw HSV in here because, you know, seems nicer. That sounds correct. So we do UI push rectangle. We would do like R2 pos minus S, pos plus S, S equals V2 8 by 8. And our border radius is going to be V4 8 8 8 8. Edge softness is going to be 0. Oh, border thickness is gonna be 8, something like that. And then color. V4 black. So then we get like a little ball thing. And we want to make that actually look good. And then we'll put one in each of these. And then we're done. Border radius, border thickness. Yeah, we want to do something like that. And then we want to do something like that. It's like close. Wait, okay, the black thing is going to be bigger. And the white thing is going to be smaller and inset. So something like that. I mean, that doesn't look amazing. But it gets the point across. So I'm going to go into the UI engine here, and we're going to make a function that's like, I don't know, void UI push circle thingy. And of course, push circle thingy is going to take a vector to position, a vector to size, and a UI color for color, and edge softness. So yeah, I mean, this isn't the world's best circle. Maybe we give it like a radius. And so it's just position and radius. And then our size is radius, radius. I think actually that's all we wanted to say. It's getting close to being good. I don't know. Wouldn't this just be the same size and different border thicknesses? And that is true, except that we also want maybe we just want that. And then Um, okay, that's looking closest. And we just want the radius to be that. It's really like inner radius and outer radius. So there we go. It's very, very close. Still not quite what I want. Right. So it's still not exactly what we want. The reason is this is just too large. There we go. That's exactly what we want. Okay. And I suppose you could parameterize this. Like we already kind of do. Yeah. And then if we want to make this look really good, we would enable the softness, and then that looks so nice. And now we just want to draw one of those in each of the other situations. So now, of course, we need to map the HSV position to the hue, which is going to be H, which is going to be X, and the Y is going to be 0. Okay, now we just need to move that guy to actually be in the center. So we can just do size equals R2 size, which we already have. So this would be size dot y times 0.5. What? Size dot x times that. Size dot y times 0.5. Boom. Okay. That's looking great. And then lastly, we just want to put one on the alpha slider. So boom, boom. We already have the color. We already have the size, and it's just the exact same logic. HSV dot. Oh, and actually here we don't want HSV. This should be alpha. Boom. Guys, this is amazing. We did everything we wanted to do. Someone tell me that doesn't look great. That looks pretty freaking great. So we have our circle thingy. We have, you know, this. We have this. And we have our swatch, which is clickable if you want it to be. This is great. All right, let's commit it. Ship it. Okay. So I think we're going to wrap it up here for now. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming by. And until next time, have fun programming.